Hi, I'm Will Toms. I'm the coordinator of Gallery Route One's annual Juried show. And this year's show is called What Can't Be Spoken. Our juror, we're very pleased to have Francis McCormack this year, Professor Emeritus at the San Francisco Art Institute until recently, and a wonderful painter in her own right. So let's take a walk and we'll look at the show. There's 46 artists included altogether. The first one is Abby Zhang. It's called Sick House. Oil, acrylic, clear tar gel on canvas. And here we have a sculpture by Michelle Echenique. It's called Unleashed. And it's made with mousselets, which are the cages around champagne bottle tops. This is Fred Smith's acrylic on panel entitled Torque 1. This is Dare Porter's assemblage entitled Risk. This is a photographic diptych by Broughton Bellow, Brewer's Blackbird Portraits. And here we have Paul Ford's painting. It's actually acrylic with photograph and pencil. And it's called Improv. Next is Lisa Lightman's When It Lies Down on a Cloud. Oil, graphite, and collage on paper. One of the 7 award winners in this show. This is Peter Moen's oil on canvas, 16 different portraits. It's called Ordinary People. This is a pencil drawing by Bill Edelin, Happy Meal, one of the award winners. Here is James Hunter's acrylic on canvas called Diversity. Actually, diversity with a question mark. Z. Morvitz, Grid number 2, ink, watercolor, and collage on paper. This piece is by Kelly Dunnigan. It's called Night. Watercolor and gouache on paper. Also one of the 7 picked by the juror. Here we have Catherine Epstein's People Please. Acrylic and paper on panel. This piece is done with graphite on paper by Kate Temple, called Tree Divination, Lemon. This piece is by Laura Newby, Surf Motel. Paper, photograph, ephemera, and fabric with a wooden frame. This is Wendy Goldberg, Oh to Be a Cloud, in chalk pastel. This is another of the 7 award winners by Nimisha Dungaral. The Price of Unchecked Freedom, Photo Transfer and Mixed Media. Here we have a monotype by Jyoti Rao called Stoic. This is by Catherine Kenworth, charcoal and paper. It's called Big Headache. Here is a photograph by Santa Clara Creston called To Dust. Another photograph. J.M. Golding, Before There Were Words, number 1. This is a painting by Diana Loesch called Bypassing, digital painting with photo fragments. This is Michael Acker's Under the Influence, a photo collage. On the top, we have Bernie Stein's watercolor called Shadow Cliffs. And underneath is Stephanie Sanchez, Along the River, oil on canvas board. And this piece is by Louise Pryor, Texare, Texture, Textile, Text. Repurposed cloth, fusible interfacing, ribbon, and embroidery. And this is Charles Anselmo's photograph, Hardin Elementary, New Orleans. Okay, on the top we have Monica Bryant's mixed media on book pages. It's called The Price of a Man. And this is Paul Ransoff's Prisoners after Kolowitz, ink on paper. Here's Dan Becker's gouache on panel, Hayes Street Summit. And this is a sculpture by Clayton Moraga called Distant Memory of a Mystery. This is Anthony Ramsey's sculpture, Tower 1. This is an acrylic on canvas, Ciudadano Ruiz, called Sundays. Julie Kornblum's piece, made out of coiled wool yarns, called Firework. And this piece called Wolf Song by Sally Nicholson, silk, satin, and brocade. Linda MacDonald, oil on canvas, Essence of Water. And this sculpture by Rachel Katz. It's called 1977-78. It's made of shredded personal journals. have an oil on linen, Patty Trimble, called Garden 10. Laura Engdahl's piece called Breaking Silence in Caustic and Mixed Media. This is by Helen Cohen, called Lifeboat, Collage and Mixed Media on Panel. This is a mixed media drawing, Graphite and Oil Stick by Kathy DeRosas, called Playful One. This is Carol Law's painting, Acrylic with Collage, called The Living Room, also one of the pieces picked by the juror. This is by Rick Ritchie, Cloche 2, charcoal, acrylic, pastel, and paper on canvas. This watercolor is by Ellen Becker. It's called Is It? Watercolor on paper. Elizabeth Schurz. Some things I have never done. This is made on handmade paper, ink on handmade paper. And finally, this is also one of the award winners, Gloria Matuszewski, Black Chocolate, Dark Green Kelp, all done in pencil.
Hi, I'm Megan Broughton. I'm a 2025 Gallery Route 1 Fellow, and I'm thrilled to walk you through my solo show, Ice Watch, and tell you a little bit about my work in general. So my practice is informed by on-site studies of ice, fog, and air currents in the Arctic, where I've done 2 residencies, as well as at home in San Francisco, and I'm really interested in how these 2 places are connected via global systems, geopolitics, and the climate crisis. So I've made the work in this show last year, reflecting on my experience with the Mari Motrice Artist Residency, which took place on a 45-foot sailing boat in Greenland in 2023. The show's title, Ice Watch, refers to the constant ice watch that we took turns cycling through on board the boat to avoid striking icebergs and potentially sinking. And these ice watches were really critical because the Greenland ice sheet is the second largest body of ice in the world, and it loses over 200 billion tons of ice per year. So the opportunity for this sort of accident was dangerously high. But the experience of ice watches really stayed with me and became really a pivotal takeaway from the residency because they were so contemplative but also challenging. They really required me to train my eye in a different way and build up my skills of observation. So all of the pieces in this show are copperplate etchings. Those are made by etching my drawings into a flat sheet of copper. I then apply ink using acid. I then apply ink to the copper, and the ink stays wherever the etched lines are. These traditionally are then transferred to a sheet of paper, and the whole point of that is to make multiple identical impressions, but I've gone in a different direction with the works in this show. So the two big etchings, one of which you're looking at now, are from my Fog Apparitions series. They are printed in a hand-mixed ink made of black and phthalo blue dried pigments and burnt plate oil. Looking at them, you will see that there are moments where they are identical, but they're pretty distinct from each other. I achieved this by using the same copper plates to make each print, but I've applied the ink to different parts of the plate each time. So this means that the full drawing of the iceberg never translates to or transfers to the paper, and the viewer will never see or get to know the full thing. It can be kind of bittersweet to work in this way because I know there's so much information lost between the plate and the paper, so I have to remind myself that that's the whole conceptual point of working in this way. And with these, I'm really thinking of loss and absence and uncertainty. The smaller etchings that were on the title wall and also the back wall of the gallery are atmospheric studies of Arctic seascapes. This series is called Ice Watch Studies. For me, it's reminiscent of like a catalog of views during an ice watch or something similar to entries in a ship's log. I made them by printing two copper plates over each other many times in many different directions. I also used stencils that I made out of torn newsprint, which creates these areas of white in the image that you can see all throughout the pieces. I used those torn newsprint stencils throughout the making of the series, and I kept tearing them into smaller pieces in different shapes and reusing them so that the work becomes all about their deterioration and destruction, sort of like an iceberg calving, or a glacier calving icebergs that melt in the ocean. So with these, I've been thinking a lot about record keeping and lost histories, as well as a lot of notions of the sublime and magical realism. So thanks for walking through my show with me. I really hope you can stop by Gallery Route 1 before February 15th when Ice Watch closes.